Hello and welcome to a new episode of Convert on Shopify. My name is Pancho Mendiola, and today, first of all, you may notice that I'm not in my studio. If you're watching this video, you can tell that I'm out in the great outdoors. And if you're listening, you might hear some sounds like birds chirping and water splashing. That's because I'm right at the side of this beautiful lagoon here in Mexico called Bacalar. But anyways, today I had a great conversation with Devansh. So this guy is a specialist in customer research. He knows a lot about CRO, but he has been specializing in customer research and also in how to differentiate a brand based on what a customer needs and what a customer or a potential customer is looking for. So we had in this episode we had a great conversation about, first of all, why it's important to do customer research, why it should be one of the first steps that you take if you want to start selling stuff, or if you already are, but you realized that your customer acquisition costs are to the roof, and you realize that your pay-per-click campaigns are not performing as well as they used to. Well, maybe it's time that you focus on customer research, and this would be one of the first or early steps if you also want to get into the conversion rate optimization world. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and good news is that we're having a second one with Devansh, which I'm gonna tell you a little bit more at the end of this episode. So enjoy it, and let's jump right in. Hey Devansh, well, first of all, thank you very much for taking a little bit of your time to enlighten us about this. What I think it's a very important topic. So, just to give a little bit of context, we we have been experiencing for the past I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 years. We have been obsessed with numbers, with ROIs, with metrics, with everything about users. We even call the people users, right? Kind of like the movie Tron. So, but we got to a certain point that doesn't seem to be working quite as well as it used to, or maybe, like, to put it in other words, there's room for improvement, and one of the things that you have been advocating for is precisely how to make marketing more human, or how to make like humanize marketing, right? So can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, okay. I'm first going to start off with an example. So, we're doing marketing. Marketing is usually done for a product or a service, and we're trying to sell something to a human. And I'm first going to give an example in the context of an advertising agency. Or, okay, let's just first give an example from the context of a, email marketing agency. So, let's just say there's this brand that sells cookies. Some people came in and they purchased a cookie and they really didn't like the taste. It was okay. So, but now that the customers purchase a product from that DTC e-commerce brand, that person is on their email list. So, what generally the email marketing gurus have taught email agencies is that, hey, these are the people that have bought your product. They really want to buy more products from you. All you need to do is send lots of emails, and we're gonna get more retention, a greater LTV. So that is what's preached to these people. So, these email marketing agencies have all these types of fancy flows. On first day we're gonna send this flow, third day that flow, fifth day this flow, and we're gonna make lots of sales, and the repeat customer rate is gonna increase. There's gonna be better LTV. But let's just say the taste of the cookie is total garbage. Most people don't like it. The ones who like it, maybe they're buying it. Let's just say the repeat customer rate of the company is 5%. But majority of people aren't buying it. The email marketing agency comes in, they run a couple of flows that their gurus taught them, and they maybe get a 7% repeat customer rate. But that's it. Now, in most cases, the email marketing agency is going to wonder, hey, what's going wrong? Why aren't people buying the product again? But funny thing is, most of them ever bother to do customer research. You're dealing with people, and it's as simple as asking, "Hey, why aren't you buying anymore?" Or just understanding what was the customer's experience like with the cookies. Chances are, if they didn't like the product that much, they're not going to buy it again. Or maybe if they have a better alternative at a cheaper price, they're probably going to go towards that alternative. The same thing can be applied to skincare brands or supplement brands. If the product didn't work for me, then chances are I'm not going to use it again. So it doesn't matter how big your email list is. You're not going to just retain customers just by sending a few flows. Let's just say we have these advertising agencies. They onboard a client, and the client fills in some questionnaire about the brand so the advertising agency can know something about the brand. And then what the agency is going to do, they're just going to start running ads to the website without understanding how the customers behave, without ever speaking to a customer, and without even understanding the market. The gurus of advertising agencies told them, hey, you need to have CBO campaign, you need to have this structure in the ad account, and you need to do this when certain KPIs are hit. So they're taught all these tactics and method, but none of them ever focus on the website has a 1% conversion rate. Let's just ask those 99% people, what's up? Why aren't they buying? Let's try to empathize with the users. I said the word user myself, but well, why not empathize with these
Yeah,
potential
yeah, no, no, no. I,
customers?
I, I get it, and it's a word that it has been like I don't know. We're so accustomed to it, and it's fine. I mean, we can keep using it, but I just wanted to make a like a point, that even yeah, we call them users, and
Yeah.
it's really there's it's really hard to find a new word for for that specific concept. But yeah, so what I'm understanding is that well, first of all, we need to so if we want to humanize our marketing, the first thing that we need to do is to understand our customers or our potential customers. So that would be step number one, and for that we need to ask, right? And I know that sounds a bit simple or easy, but I know it's a challenge, right? Because if
Mhm.
they didn't buy, can you tell us a little bit of how, like how we can make an approach to having them, answer, I don't know, like a poll or a type form or whatever. Do you have some tips for that?
Yeah, I think one of the best and most common one is using an unpaid survey. It's available from Hotjar. So you can ask questions like, "Did you find the information you were looking for?" If people click on yes, then great. If people click on no, then you can ask them what was the information they were looking for. Or we can ask questions like, "Is there anything stopping you from making a purchase today?" So that's just one of the many ways you can ask questions. It really depends on your niche, your type of you know test out different types of questions and see which type of question gives you the most, you can see, actionable advice. So probably that's one of the ways. But I think as far as understanding customers is concerned, there's lots of aspects to it. So we have potential customers who've not bought the product yet. We got customers who recently purchased the product. So we can ask those type of customers, what brands did you compare us to? What was the core motivation on on buying our products? And we can leave it as an open-ended survey, so they can type in whatever comes to their mind. And obviously, with customers who've bought the product and used it, you can probably understand what was the experience like. Are there any areas of improvement? So there's a lot more that goes into it. We got all these different segments of customers or potential customers. But yeah, I mean, we can go and I can go 1 to 2 hours to discuss on each type of specific segment. But
Yeah, no, but I,
you
I
kind of get the
totally
point of what I'm trying to say.
I totally get it, and what I'm trying to get at is that we as merchants, we tend to think that people won't take their time to answer, and the thing is that they will. I mean, for example, me as a user or as a customer, I do it, and for the brands that I care about, and they ask me something, I want them to get better, because if they get better, then I get better products or a better service. So I really pitch in when someone asks me, hey, what can I do better? And for example, I have a brand, a nootropics brand, and we ask people for their their reviews, which is, I think, the most basic way that you can actually learn from your customers, and it's really funny. So we ask for a photo review, right? And they can add 1 to 5 stars. They can add a text, and they can add a photo, and all of a sudden, all of the customers are taking their photos of the product in front of either a laptop or a keyboard and a monitor or a book or something where they're taking notes. All of them, like, well, let's say 90% of them. So we're like, okay, I think they're trying to tell us that their profile, they are people looking for productivity gains and these sort of things. So now we can switch our narrative as a brand, or give them more content and more value. And now that we understand that this is the type of users that we have, and if we go a bit further and like you said, ask them a couple of more questions, I'm sure they'll answer. And that's what you mean by learning about your customer base, right?
Yeah, and many times the feedback you get from customers, it's sometimes things you never really thought of. So there's this brand that sells mini golf bags, and what happened was in one of our post purchase surveys, we asked, what was the motivation, like why did they buy from us? And one of the customers said they bought from us because lots of other companies copy this client's bag. And that's when we realized stuff. Maybe a lot of companies are trying to copy, but it could really serve as a differentiating point, where we can even use that in the ad. So people probably seeing that may possibly think, oh, if other people are copying this company, they may be really that good. Can be anything, but the feedback sometimes you get from the ideas you get from customer feedback or responses, it's actually quite interesting. It's stuff marketers maybe never really think about. And I think one more thing is that brands ignore negative reviews. So especially in the DTC space, many times speed is a problem for these brands. And a lot of these brands, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody, these entrepreneurs, they want to start a business, they want to make money. But I think sometimes they focus too much on the money aspect, and they totally forget about why are people paying them? Why does their brand exist in the first place? They deviate from their ideals or mission. So let's just say in the case of supplements or skincare, many times, if a brand gets negative reviews, they have all these review apps. Okay, so if a customer puts in a negative review, some brands even do this. They put a filter on their review app, and the review app is only going to be showing reviews which has 4 stars and above. It's kind of messed up, and they're totally going to ignore the negative reviews as well. Maybe if the product was not working that well, you could have asked that customer, let's say a supplement, what kind of a food were you eating? Were there any foods that were interfering with the results of the supplement? That's not really the way to go. And I think in the near future, a lot of DTC brands are going to fail. I mean, a lot of them are failing already in terms of retaining customers. And obviously, with these whole privacy updates coming in, CPMs rising, their CAC is getting messed up as well. And plus, you've got more and more brands coming in each year. It's never been much more easier to start a skincare supplement or clothing brand. And plus, now more VCs have come into the equation. So now you've got brands which are well funded as well. So obviously, the CPMS are going to rise, and if you're not truly differentiated, chances are your CAC is also going to be rising. And yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot more
No, and
topics, and
that's already
when,
happening, and I think this
yeah,
is one of the reasons that we're having this conversation, precisely because like every time, like this week, for example, I got approached maybe like 3 or 4 entrepreneurs that were like, okay, my CAC is all the way up the roof, and what can I do about it? And I'm like, okay, just like focus on conversion, like don't focus on traffic, like you always have. Now you have to focus on conversion, and that is an easy thing to say, but there's a lot of components with regarding conversion, right? And this precisely is one of them. I think, and this could be like the starting point also. Like, first of all, learn about your customer, learn how he talks, learn what types of words they use, because this is important. Where do they mingle? What excites them? And now you can focus your brand, and you can tailor your message to that specific customer, instead of just throwing piles of money at generic messages and see like if you catch 1%, like you said.
Yep, definitely. And one more thing I'd like to say. There's this problem of not having a culture of experimentation and thinking that making big changes on your website is going to fix your conversion. So let's just say if a brand's website is not converting properly, what they do is they totally change the way the store looks, and they believe that's going to bring some greater increase to the conversions, which is kind of a gamble. It may or may not. But just to give you an example of a real life analogy, let's just say you have a physical store, and 1,000 people come into the store, and what happens is that out of 1,000 people, only 10 people buy. And let's just say the reason was because there's only one cashier and there's a line of 200 people. So you had 200 people who were willing to buy, who were in the line, but so damn big that they don't want to even wait that long. They're like, maybe I'll just go to another store. I ain't got time to wait so damn much. So they leave. Now, instead of doing research and finding out what was the issue, the physical store owner decides to destroy the shop, demolish it and make a new one, a prettier shop, thinking that's gonna fix whatever the problem was. Now that's the case with a lot of website redesigns. And also one more thing I'd like to point out is I think another reason why people don't think improving the website conversions is important. It's because if you see, before even the whole internet marketing space, e-commerce space became popular, when you were a kid, you saw some advertisement on TV, you liked the product, maybe you wanted to buy it, and you went to the store and bought it. So the same kind of stuff happens with a lot of these new entrepreneurs. They think all they need to do is run the ad, and people are going to come and buy. Just they're going to just go to the website and buy their product. They don't really consider the website as some really important aspect. They think all they need to do is just be good looking, maybe have a pretty website, be a little bit on brand, and that's it. They don't consider the amount of objections the customer is going to be having. They don't even consider the competition they have. So just to give another example, some brand says they're different because their clothing brand is sustainable, but it turns out that their competitors are also saying they're different because they're sustainable. So that's not truly a differentiation in the eyes of the customer. So there's a lot of lack of self awareness and terrible practices that go on to increase conversion. Awareness in terms of not being able to understand your own brand and your own market. And secondly, the bad practices of thinking making a big random change on the website is just going to fix the conversion problems. That's why, again, uh, these brands need to do research to find out what's the problem. Else they're just going to be breaking down the store and building a new one in hopes of thinking that's going to fix the problem. Yeah, that's just something I wanted to mention as well.
Yeah, I love that example, and I've seen it also. Like, instead of also demolishing, like you said, the store, they do like huge discounts, which is kind of the same, because you're pretty much bringing down your margin to the floor. But they only do discounts and discounts and discounts, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
that's not the problem. The problem, or you think the problem is a price, but that's not the problem. The problem is something else. Maybe they don't have enough information, and if you give it to them, they'll buy it without a discount. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that example.
Okay, let's just say if the physical store They simply added more cashiers. They would have saved a lot of time and money instead of breaking down the store and building a new one. Same stuff goes with these brands. If all they did was do some customer research and maybe they found out people had XYZ objections and they created an FAQ section on the product page which clears out those objections, then they would have seen the improvement in their conversion rate. Yeah, but again, a lot of e-commerce brands, they don't do research. They build totally new websites. So doing a little bit of that would have saved them a lot of time and money. A little bit of research, and yeah, you can continue with what you were saying.
I agree. No, no, no. That's I totally agree with that. And yeah. So I think to sum it up, let's say that the goal as a brand, first of all, is to actually have this culture of customer research. We tend to skip this step. We think we know it all. I mean, ultimately, we're the creators of this product, so we know it all. And probably you do know a lot of stuff, but maybe you need to understand the how your product is perceived, right? And how other customers understand the ideas that you're saying. Maybe you're being too technical, or maybe you're not being too technical enough. It depends on the
Yeah.
type of user that you have, and this is will help us design and cater and tailor messages to these specific customers based on how they are how they yeah they find products or they buy products, and that can save us a lot of time, a lot of money, specifically also on pay per click, which is what now is driving the CAC to the roof. But yeah, I totally get it. So hey man, I mean, thank you again very much for your time. I'm gonna invite you to another episode. So would you be willing to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I'd love to talk about in the next episode would be differentiation because I think most niches are saturated. I mean, skincare, clothing, supplements, shoes, you name it. There's so many niches out there. I can't name all of them right now. But yeah, quite a lot of these brands, they're not truly differentiated from their customers. So I'd love to get into the topic of how can you differentiate based on your product characteristics, and if you're not able to differentiate based on your product, it's just hard to come up with something innovative. How can you use psychological biases to differentiate your product or differentiate your brand? So yeah, I'd love to discuss or explain about it in the next episode we're gonna get on.
All right, awesome. Let's do it. And so I'll see you soon. And thanks again for your time. I love this conversation, and I hope it's helpful for everybody.
Yep, same here.
Have a great one. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it as well as I did. And well, in the next episode, we're gonna be back with Devansh, and we're gonna be talking about differentiation. So how we can make our brands stand out from other brands. We know that there's a lot of competition. We know that there's now venture capital coming in to support e-commerce stores, and this can be challenging if we are a startup. So how we can stand out and differentiate ourselves from others, that's going to be featured in the next episode, again with Devansh. So thank you very much. Remember that if you want to learn more and faster about conversion rate optimization, you can find tons of resources in Convert.com. We have a blog, we have webinars, we have a lot of great content about CRO. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.